Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, so if I stumble over my words moving forwards, apologies about that, and also apologies if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well. If there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it can't be helped, and hopefully it's not too much of an issue for you. This is sort of another Eurovision related video here on my channel. Right now, it is time for me to film a Q&A video. Now, I've filmed plenty of these in the past, and I'm sure I will be filming more of these in the future too. To mark the little milestone of reaching 900 subscribers recently, I thought it was a nice time to maybe film an updated Q&A. I asked for questions on a post that is on my community page, and I've received a whole bunch of questions which I'm happy to answer for you right now. I've not really thought too much about my answers, but I'm going to get straight into this. As always, there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. Apologies as well if I mispronounce anybody's name, and also I've had to pull the curtains because the light was just so blinding. Anyway, here we go. Adam Tideman 4953, it says here. Almost every year we see entries inspired by past successes. Last year, many female acts incorporated dance breaks reminiscent of Chanel. This year there's a wave of fun, quirky entries clearly influenced by Carrier. Who do you think will be this year's trendsetter, inspiring entries next year like Chanel and Carrier did? Are there any specific elements you find particularly inspiring? Well, I'm not sure about particularly inspiring, but like a lot of people, I do appreciate an artist when they sing in their own language, and perhaps when they bring something traditional and authentic to their country to the contest. So Greece and Armenia, Azerbaijan, they're sort of doing that this year, so I can absolutely appreciate that. And if those entries do well, then moving forwards we may see even more countries sing in their own language or bring something somewhat traditional to the competition. That would be very nice to see. That would be a great, long-lasting effect at Eurovision, if you see what I mean. In terms of being this year's trendsetter, I don't really know. I think the Carrier effect you talk about, that is long-lasting. I think we are going to continue to see moving forwards very expressive, somewhat wacky, fun, wild entries on the Eurovision stage, especially if Croatia and the Netherlands do well this year. That ripple effect will continue into 2025 and beyond, I'm sure. I mentioned Armenia in a previous video, how I think that song Yako could be a big hit after Eurovision. If it is, then maybe next year and beyond we will see what I mentioned just now. More songs in a country's own language and bringing something traditional, a new flavour to the contest. In terms of anything else, I'm not sure. I'm not sure this year. I don't really know. Maybe this year we'll have a lot of notable props, and so moving forwards we'll have even more of them in the contest. It remains to be seen. I don't really know. Saul Brown 12. Do you have any national final favourites who you personally loved, or any that you think could have even challenged for the win? For me, Pascana was a big loss, although we now know that Sarah would not have gone to Malmö even if she won. Wild West was also sad to see not win, because country pop music is really your thing. You mentioned Pascana. I did like that song. It wasn't my favourite from UMK. Cyan Kicks were. But Pascana, had that been the Finnish entry this year, I think we would be sitting here now talking about Finland maybe challenging for the win. I don't know. Instead, we're talking about Windows 95 man, maybe not even qualifying from that first semi-final in 2 months' time. I do have national final favourites. There will be a video at some point soon going through 10 great national final songs of the season. I hope to get that video filmed within the next month, but we'll wait and see. I have my spreadsheet loaded up here. This is my Eurovision Second Chance round, which I've been doing for years. So these songs aren't necessarily my national final favourites, because my national final favourites may well have won and are now going to Eurovision. So these are just other national final favourites, if you see what I mean. So in a random order, for Moldova, Fever by Catalina Solomac, that was my favourite overall. San Marino, Loredana Berte with Patsa. I also liked Boom, I think it was. Was that the name of the group? I think so. That was not a bad song they had. Czech Republic, MIDI, Red Flag Parade. Luxembourg, Crick, Drowning in the Rain. I was listening to that very recently, and I'll tell you something. If, in another universe, Drowning in the Rain was a James Bond theme performed by Billie Eilish, it would be a worldwide smash hit, winning an Oscar, Golden Globe, you name it. But no, it's a song that didn't even win Luxembourg's national final for Eurovision. In another universe, Drowning in the Rain could be a smash global hit, if you ask me. Gasoline by Marcella for Croatia, Dancing with Demons, Cyan Kicks for Finland, Sinceramente by Annalisa for Italy. That song absolutely would be a contender to win the whole contest, perhaps even more so than Angelina Mango. Absolutely in my mind. That is overall my national final favourite of the 2024 season, which doesn't come as a surprise to me at all, because any time Annalisa's in Sanremo, she usually ends up being my overall national final favourite of the season, even though Sanremo is not, strictly speaking, a national final. Oblivion by Margaret Berger for Norway, Serotonin by Annette Weikma for Estonia, Queen by Krylata for Ukraine, she didn't even make the final of Vidbir. When I'm Gone by Maria Sur for Sweden, And Love You Starting Tomorrow, Monica Maria for Lithuania, Johnny by Basim for Denmark, Kur by Vestules for Latvia, Go to Ban by Ailsha for Ireland. I was really impressed by that the first time I heard it. The live performance wasn't quite living up to expectations though. Oh Boy by Rick for Germany. Oh boy, they should have sent that. Sirena by Erba for Malta. Gnezdo Orlovo by Breskvica for Serbia. Into the Atmosphere by Sigurd Usk for Iceland. Pelas Costuras by João Borges for Portugal. Had that song gone to Eurovision, that could have been a real grower for a lot of people. That would have been one to watch, absolutely. Pictur by Criança Susai for Albania, that's a lovely song. And then Sekien Soy by Angie Fernandez for Spain. That would have been one of my big favourites at Eurovision this year, had it won Benidorm Fest. There are plenty of others as well. Let me try and think here. There's plenty from Sanremo, but I can't remember them all. I liked The Colours, I remember that much. Mia with Green Lights in MGP, Ollie and several others from Estilaul. Plenty from Sweden, Cassiopeia, Lia Larsson, Dotter, absolutely, and others. I just can't remember them all at the moment. Denmark, there were a few in DMGP I enjoyed. Bodine Monet in Germany, that was another one. A few from Malta weren't bad. Ryan Hilly's song wasn't too bad. Iceland, yeah, I didn't mind most of the Icelandic contenders, absolutely. Criatura by Rita Onofre in Portugal. There were a few FDC songs that I really enjoyed in the end. And there were one or two others from Spain as well, but I can't really remember what they were. Noan, who didn't make the final, and Marlena, was it? Yes. Can't quite remember. But yeah, plenty and plenty of national final songs that I've enjoyed over the past few months. That was a long-winded answer, but there we go. I think the only one that maybe could have won this year's contest, Sinceramente. Coltino 76, which staging are you most looking forward to and most excited about? I'm excited for everybody, but I'm particularly interested to see Ireland's staging, mainly to see if it's a complete mess or not. Croatia to see how it's elevated from Dora. Australia to see if that can really elevate the song live. Portugal to see how that's improved ever so slightly from FDC. Malta to see if it's basic or innovative. Greece, apparently it's all one camera shot. We'll see if that backfires or not. Switzerland, there's so much riding on the staging for that one. The staging will make or break that song's chances as far as I'm concerned. Austria to see if it's cheap or not. And whether she just has a load of topless guys on stage with her, as in the music video. I'm excited for San Marino, that could be really fantastic. Belgium, if they recreate the intimacy of the music video, the very sort of fragile atmosphere that's going on, and then recreate that cathartic release at the end, that could be a real moment. Estonia, we sort of know what we're going to get. Norway too. I'm excited for the UK staging. I'm excited for Italy, although I think it won't be a million miles away from what we had at Sanremo. And that's about it. But the truthful answer is I'm excited for everybody. Yavuzal P. Korkmaz 1728. Out of all of the eliminated songs in this national final season, was there any song that could be a strong contender for the trophy? I've just mentioned this. Pascana, maybe. Sinceramente, absolutely. How do I think this new format of automatic qualifiers performing in their semi-finals will impact their chances? I don't think it will make any difference whatsoever. I really don't see it making any difference whatsoever. What matters is the night itself, the grand final. Do you think we'll have another year with an automatic qualifier getting last place in the final? Maybe. If it happens, it's probably going to be Germany again. I do not see a situation in which Germany aren't in the bottom 5, I will tell you that much. If so, which automatic qualifier is more likely to get last place? I think it will be Germany, unfortunately. In your opinion, what are the entries that most of the fandom is sleeping on and has potential to do unexpectedly well? Well, I did cover this ever so slightly in my running orders for the semi-finals reaction video, which you may well have seen. I think people are maybe forgetting about Ukraine a little bit. That's a major contender to win. I think Slovenia is flying under the radar a bit, Australia a tiny bit, maybe Malta a tiny bit as well. Denmark, I think that's growing on a few people now, but that's flying under the radar too. Latvia to some extent, and that might be about it. And the UK, I suppose, perhaps as well. I think the UK are now in the top 10 of the betting odds to win the whole thing, and if anything, it's going to grow on people than go off in people's expectations, if you see what I mean. So there you go. My God, I'm rambling big time. Henriquez 2002. If some acts are eliminated and knowing that they are heavily preferred by the jury, but because it's a televote only semis nowadays, and then they get eliminated somehow, do you think the 50-50 split should be brought back? Yes. Yes, it should never have gone. If you are having the jury vote in the final, you have it for the semi-finals. You need to have that consistency, because, you know, a country may benefit from the jury in the final, and wouldn't it have been nice if they could have benefited from that in the semi-finals as well? Maybe. I don't know. I would absolutely be trying to bring that back sooner rather than later, just for consistency reasons more than anything else. Harriet A. Midala, 1691, again apologies for pronunciations here. 2 questions from you. Have you ever assigned Eurovision songs as character themes for a show you like? I can't say I've ever done that myself. And then the next question, are you a Doctor Who fan? I ask because the series premiere will occur on the same day as the Eurovision Grand Final. Yes, I am a Doctor Who fan, have been for many years. I've seen all of the modern series from the mid-2000s to the present day, and I've seen a reasonable amount of the classic series as well. You can't really see, but I do have many box sets of Doctor Who, many books on my shelves over there, and on my windowsill, not that you can see it, I have a small TARDIS. So, and a Dalek, I think, as well, on the other side. So yes, I am a Doctor Who fan, absolutely. JTB357, you mentioned your friend you are working with. Will he appear in your YouTube channel someday soon? This is Peter, who I've mentioned previously. I sort of co-run an Instagram page with him, rajc.esc, link in the description to that. He was the one who came up with the idea of starting an Instagram page together. He was in control of it for a long time. I told him what to post, and he designed them, and away we went. But for a long time, it's mainly been me doing it. And Peter does chip in with his top 3s of national finals, and he is, at the moment, fingers crossed, working on his rankings of the 2 semi-finals. So yes, he may appear on my channel in the future again at some point. He has been on it before. He was there in the Liverpool vlog from last May, and there was also another video I filmed last spring regarding our attempt to try and get Eurovision Grand Final tickets. His voice can be heard in that video too, I believe. So he has featured previously, but whether he appears again or not, I don't know. He's not a huge Eurovision fan, that's the thing. Will I be modernising my channel in the near future? I'd love to. New computer, maybe editing videos, different thumbnails. Whether that happens or not anytime soon, I just don't know. But absolutely, I would like a fresher look to proceedings moving forwards. You mentioned a green screen background. I'm not sure about that, but who knows? Who knows? I'm open to anything, really. Witod says, let's imagine that all countries have an equal chance of winning this year and you have an unlimited travel budget. Which hosting city would you most like to go to for Eurovision and why? Reykjavik in Iceland would be fantastic, because I've read about Iceland so much in the past, I've listened to so much Icelandic music, I've watched Icelandic movies, It's a country that I'd just love to spend a great deal of time in. And as much as I don't think Iceland should be anywhere near winning this year, if every country was on the same playing field, then I would like Iceland to win and then Reykjavik to host next year. Prague is another one in the Czech Republic. Oh, absolutely. Tallinn in Estonia, which has hosted before. Maybe Barcelona in Spain. Yeah, there's definitely a fair few. But the main ones are the ones that I've just mentioned. Absolutely. And it's just because I'm interested in those locations. You know, I've read about Prague as well. I've read about Tallinn. And I've actually written about Prague before, I think. I wrote part of a short story set on the Charles Bridge. I'm sure I did. And Tallinn, I've written about as well. I wrote about Tumpea Castle for my master's manuscript. I think it was. Might read that poem aloud in a future video if people are interested. And then Reykjavik, I haven't written about actually, although I did set part of a fiction story there once, I believe. This is going back many years and I'm rambling big time. We move on. Another question from Saul Brown. What country could you see a Eurovision win for in the next few years with their current trajectory? I did make a video about 2 or 3 years ago now, predicting future winners of the contest. I've no idea if that video is on the way to being somewhat accurate or not, but I think Lithuania are pushing for that first win. That could happen soon. Iceland, maybe. Cyprus, I don't think so. Lithuania, yes. I don't think Poland. Croatia, it could happen this year. You never know. Who else is there here? Czechia might just have a golden year at some point soon. Same with Armenia. I don't know. Definitely Lithuania, I would say. And then the last question comes from Whitod again. Let me steal one of your questions that you asked us last year. Is there a country you have a soft spot for at Eurovision and you root for them, even if they send a relatively weaker song that particular year? Well, I suppose San Marino. It's always nice to see a small country like San Marino do well, and I am rooting for them this year, absolutely. I have a bit of a soft spot for Iceland, have done ever since I first became aware of Eurovision. I've liked so many of Iceland's tracks over the years. It's a shame that I'm not a huge fan of Scared of Heights, but there we are. I do have a little bit of a soft spot for Portugal in recent years, absolutely. I like to see Australia do well. I like to see Ireland do well. I like to see Malta do well. Have a bit of a soft spot for Switzerland. Belgium, absolutely. I've loved plenty of Belgian entries over the years. Estonia is right up there. Love Estonia's tracks more often than not. Norway too. Italy, yeah. I think the main two, Estonia and Iceland. Anyway, that's it. I think that's all of the questions. If I've missed any, I do apologise. This has been a really, really messy video from me. I'm not particularly chuffed with how it's turned out, but there we are. Thank you very much for all of those questions once again, and I will no doubt film another Q&A video at some point in the future. My next video, all being well, will be a rough early prediction for the semi-finals results. And last night, I went through semi-final 1, made a prediction, and I was quite surprised at the outcome. Let's put it that way. Yes, that video will be surfacing soon, all being well. Until next time, apologies if there was any lag and for my mispronunciations. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon, all being well. Take care.